Hey guys, so we're going to go through the rest of the tools that I was showing you. So the next tool we were at is the measure tool. And basically if you want to measure how long something is, you click on the spot where you want to start and you hold down the mouse button and you drag. And in the bottom left corner over here, it will tell you how long the thing you're measuring is. The move tool is basic. Whatever you want to move, you just click on it and hold down and move it to where you want. So if you have multiple layers and you want to move a layer, you can do that. The alignment tool is if you select on the layer and you can align it in the center, you can align it to the left, to the right, down, middle. So if you have multiple layers, again, if you want something dead center in the middle, you can select on the layer and then say align in the center. So that's also really cool. The crop tool is you select how big you want your image and you click again and it will crop it. So select what I want, click, and it crops it. The rotate tool, if you're in a layer and you want it to rotate, you just make sure your rotate tool is selected and click on the layer. And then you can use this dial and rotate it, or you can set an angle in here. So say I want it 90 degrees, click on, or I type in 90 and then I hit rotate and it does it for me. So I flipped it over and I put it back in the center. So the next tool I will show you is the scale tool. This is again good for multiple layers. You go ahead and click on the layer you want to scale. And if you click on this little link, it will make this line, or all the sides will scale evenly, whereas if you want the sides to freely scale on their own to what you want them to be, when I scale it, it will stay even and it won't get as disproportioned as if it wasn't linked. So then I'll just enlarge this a little bit so you can see that it scales. And I'm going to click scale and I'm going to use my move tool again and put it where I want. So I'll just put it there and that looks good. So the next tool is the shear tool. So basically the shear tool will slant your image. And you just use these arrows to determine how much of a slant you want. So you click shear when you're all done and it will slant it for you. The next tool is the perspective tool. Basically, you will change the perspective of the photo by holding down the mouse button and dragging the picture around. And you just kind of mess with the image. And say you don't want that and you want it to change back to normal, you just hit reset and it will go back to normal, and then you can go ahead and play with it again. I think this tool is kind of cool. And then say I wanted it to go like that, then I click on transform and it will put it in that perspective. So the next tool is the flip tool, and it does exactly what it says. It literally flips your picture. The next tool is the cage transform tool. Basically, you select an area like you do with kind of like the scissors tool and the path tool, and the selection that you pick. So as you can see, I'm just going to move it around so you can kind of see it disforming it, and it just messes it up. You can pick any selection you want, and it will disform the picture for you. The next tool is really simple. It's the text tool. Say I want to text on this photo, I will select an area, and I will type what I want. So I just did hello, and I can highlight that, and over here you can change the size of the text. You can change the font by clicking on this little text box, and you can change it, and you can change the color of it. And yeah, so when you're all done, just click it. When you're all done, you can just go ahead and click over here on a different layer because it automatically puts your text in a new layer for you. And I already showed you the fill tool. And now the blend tool. Basically, the blend tool is kind of like a gradient tool is what I use it for. I can have the entire layer filled with the color I want by just going here. And they also have really cool transition things. So say I wanted it to fade from black to nothing, or black to clear in a way. So I would make sure I selected this one for foreground color to transparent. And then say I'm going to change the color so you can kind of see it better. I'll make it this bright blue. So I will drag it, and you see it adds a little hint of blue, and it lightly fades out as a gradient. And if I wanted it to be almost the entire page like that, I would keep doing that. And I can go longer, and it makes it bigger. Go longer, makes it bigger. So I use that tool a lot if I'm editing like a sunset type of thing. And they also have different colors already preset for you. So they have a pretty selection of blues and purples and things like that. And then they have like rainbow ones and different, just a bunch of different colors that you can do to make cool little patterns like this. The next tool that I will show you is the ink tool. Basically, it's just like any pen or pencil. It just gives a different type of look of the text. You can change the size, the angle, all of that stuff. And you can change the type of shape that it is down here by clicking on the different shapes. See, it makes a rhombus, a square, and a circle. The next thing is the clone tool. Okay, so what you're going to do for the clone tool, you're going to press Control, and then whatever you want to clone, you're going to go over it and click on it, and then let go of Control, and then wherever you want that clone to be, you click where you want it to be at. The healing tool is the same type of process where you hold Control and then you select an area that you want to transfer over to other areas. And if you hold down the mouse as you're doing this, wherever that one circle is at will transfer that type of color to another area, if that makes sense. I use this tool when I showed how to get rid of acne in photos if you want a better representation of how it works. It's kind of hard to show with just this type of picture, but go ahead and I'll put that video in the description box below so you can go watch it, or I'll pop up a link on the screen on here if you want to know how to use the heal tool more. The perspective clone. Okay, so I just quickly made a new type of background so you can see this a little bit better. So say I wanted to make this smiley face over here. I would go to my perspective clone tool and I would select the area over the smiley face as well as the area as to where I want to clone it at. Say I want it like over here in this region, and then I'm going to select perspective clone, and then I'm going to hold Control and click on the smiley face where I want to clone it, and then click in the area that I want it to go. So there we go, we cloned that smiley face over here. The next tool I will show you is the blur tool. Basically, you can change the angle, the aspect ratio, the rate in which it blurs. You can also sharpen an image. But for the blur tool, you just go over what you want to blur, and after you let go, the image will be blurred. And if I want it to be even more blurry, I will start at the top again and go over it again and again and again, and it will blur whatever you select. The next tool is the smudge tool, And depending on the size of your brush, it will smudge it a lot when you go over it, or it'll smudge it a little bit. You can see the smudges a little bit better. Basically, you're going to click on your mouse and you're going to hold it and then move whichever way you want it to smudge. The last tool is the dodge and burn tool. Basically, the dodge and burn tool, you can either make an image darker or lighter by either dodging it or burning it. Dodging it makes it lighter and burning makes it darker. And you can change your brush size, the type of brush, and everything like that.
Listen up, there's not a moment to spare. It's quite a drop from the top, so how you feeling down there? It's a cold